prosecutors don't bring cases if they don't think they're going to win. They don't bring it to blow up in their face, except for one time when you bring it against Trump. Because what Trump cases are really not about winning the cases. They're about embarrassing him. They're about undermining him. They're about sabotaging his efforts to run for re-election.
And we believe, Thane, by the way, those are some of the predecessors, I think, to seeing the
motorcade.
The motorcade following. We're keeping track of that from this Miami courthouse. Go ahead, Thane. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying that the word to give a former president a probation officer, right?
That's kind of insulting, isn't it?
Well,
Yes,
I think it was a pretrial services officer and not a probation officer. The pretrial service officer works for the U.S. courts and ensures that defendants comply with their conditions of release. So I'm assuming that CNN reported inaccurately. I know that is shocking for everyone.
Yeah, I can't believe.
To a former police officer who identified as such.
I have a question for the three of you, which goes to CNN, which is that we're being told that President Biden has no involvement here and that he's not really aware of this.
Oh, please.
And I'm wondering, does anyone actually, it seems to me so disingenuous and so intellectually dishonest to say that, and maybe Betsy knows from her political experience, nobody picks up the phone from the West Wing and calls the U.S. Attorney's Office. Nobody is part of these conversations. It just seems, intellectually dishonest, as if there's a purity to Joe Biden and there's a purity to Democrats, and they wouldn't play hardball like that. This has only to do with Donald Trump and his criminality. It has nothing to do with the fact that he's running for president. We all know that if President Trump had not declared his candidacy to run again, none of these cases would have been brought.
You're absolutely right, Thane, that this is political, and the president would be able to pick up the phone. In ordinary times, the president would pick up the phone and call his attorney general and say, knock it off. This is un-American.
All right, we see right now it looks like the motorcade is heading out. We don't know which of these vehicles the former president might be in. I would assume they don't want people exactly to know.
That's the point. Why they have many of them. Yes, you never quite know which one he is in, of course. But again, the motorcade will be proceeding, we anticipate, directly to the Miami-Dade airport. There's been some discussion that he may stop somewhere before he gets there, but we are not sure about that just yet.
Now, one interesting thing last night is when he showed up to Doral. Remember the people that were outside? He kind of slowed down.
Yes.
I don't know if he just wanted to see people or if he waved, or I don't know whether there'll be any response or allusions to the people who spent a lot of their day outside here. And of course, the police had to prepare for what could have been tens of thousands. You just don't know who's going to turn out.
Exactly.
You don't have to be there, of course, to actually express an interest and support in this day and age. And let's be frank, given the January 6th situation in which a lot of people feel that those people were not treated as fairly as perhaps they should have been, overcharged in many cases. Maybe people didn't want to take a risk that something bad may go down. But there are still estimated thousands, certainly hundreds, that even we can observe, of Trump supporters that have turned out and have been there since early this morning.
Yeah, we're anticipating, I see some waving there, the Secret Service, so we can guess that is exactly where the former president is. We did, believe, see him wave. He's flanked by Secret Service officers there going through, again, a large crowd, hundreds of people, at least what we can see. Our correspondent, Leonardo Feldman, anticipated several thousand people. And again, many of them, or most of them, there to show their support for the former president. There have been some protesters there as well, but we were, of course, very happy to hear that everything had been extremely peaceful and respectful as people expressed their thoughts and ideas and show their support or lack thereof, as we should be able to do safely in America.
Yeah, so we're seeing a former president leave a federal courthouse in which he has pleaded not guilty to 37 charges, and that is a first in the history of this country, a former president being charged with a federal charge, showing up in a federal courtroom. And we know that he was pleaded not guilty, told not to talk to Mr. Nada, with whom is, by the way, is in the indictment as well.
Yes, absolutely.
And so part of their narrative here of a conspiracy, Mr. Nada, according to the indictment, helping move various boxes. But as we see this proceed, we know eventually it's supposed to make its way to the Miami airport. Don't know if there may be a stop on the way. Is this the president? Don't know if that's his particular. We're seeing.
Tough to tell there. It looks like some people may be getting arrested. We don't know exactly why or exactly what's going on there. But again, happening right now live as the president and his motorcade pass by.
Okay.
That looks like an anti-Trump guy.
Isn't that the guy that was anti-Trump? I think may have caused
Outside
a
Durrell.
problem. Yeah. And I think he was there earlier today. And I believe he showed up there this morning as well. That may be traffic on any given day in Miami, but there also could be
road closures.
Reason for that. Some road closures to have the president, the former president, make his way away from the federal courthouse. We want to make sure all of that happens safely. Betsy?
Well, I'm just thinking as I see these 37 charges, it so resembles what the highly politically motivated DA in New York, Alvin Bragg, did, chopping and dicing one set of business entries into some 34 charges against the president, once again really performing all kinds of legal gymnastics, ignoring the statute of limitations, using a federal statute to charge something in state court, you name it, every trick in the book. And that's what we see in this indictment, too.
And as we watch the former president's motorcade go from approximately 7.4 miles from the Miami courthouse to the Miami International Airport, we want to bring in a trial attorney and author of Atheism Destroys, Barack Lurie. Barack, of course, we're watching all of this happen in real time as the president leaves that courthouse where we know that he pleaded not guilty to all 37 counts, all 37 charges against him. What happens next?
Well, I mean, he's going to have to, at some point, answer to these charges and eventually have a discovery process and otherwise engage in that give and take with the prosecution. Prosecution also will have to deliver all the information that they necessarily have under the criminal code. They have to share all the information that might that they have against him, and also all the information that they have that might exonerate him as well. So that's a give and take that will be happening over many months, and I imagine that the trial will not proceed before the 2024 election. That's the next step.
Yeah, Brock, let me ask you this: as somebody who's not a lawyer and looks at these things, tries to understand the legal aspects. I've read the indictment. I think the average person could do that and say, like Lydia has pointed out several times, it's not like he sold these secrets. There's nothing in here that this information has been given to someone else. And as Betsy mentioned, the Presidential Records Act gives the president, especially when he is president, the power to do many things with records. Why is there not something reasonable, for lack of a better term? Why is there not some way to approach this that say, here's a slap on the wrist. Don't do that again. You got to give this back. We've gone through the process, and I understand. And some have even argued that Mr. Trump could have been more forthcoming. Okay, maybe that's the case. But to go to the extent to remind people the penalties attached to these counts add up. I forget what the number is, but it's in the hundreds of years in prison. I mean, that seems crazy to a layman like myself.
Well, I think you got it right, Bob. It's really very disturbing, and they should have something equivalent, let's say, to a contempt of court or contempt of Congress, like they did with Eric Holder and others in the past, and then they move on with their lives. And that would be the most suitable sort of arrangement here. But they, of course, want something more here. They want this to be a criminal indictment because they want everyone to be able to say that Trump is a criminal. That to them is far more important, and they just want the drip, drip, drip. Another thing, Bob, is that they might just simply want to make sure that Trump, with all these indictments and all his having to appear in courthouses, this way he won't be able to attend all his rallies, right? I mean, that's what they want to do. They just want to stop him in every way possible, and the public is seeing this, and at some point, I think it's going to backfire.
Yeah, and Barack, question for you. CNN had been reporting that the former president was assigned a probation officer, but of course, a probation officer is, correct me if I'm wrong, is what people are assigned if they actually have committed, or I should say, have committed a crime and have been released. But instead, he was assigned a pretrial services officer. So would you say they're pretty much the same thing, but depending on the state of the trial or the charges or the indictment?
Yes, I would say that. I mean, look, it's very inappropriate to have a probation officer before an actual conviction. It's very bizarre, and it's only designed in an effort to humiliate the former president. And that's what they want to do. And at some point, people will get sick of this. I do think that that is the essence of what they're trying to do. Everything about this is about humiliation, to constantly keep Trump in the news, and also to make the association of him with crime, over and over again. And that will be nonstop for months to go, despite the fact that people seem to be forgetting what happened previously with the previous interaction with the woman from Bloomingdale's. I forget even her name at this point, who alleged rape against him, was found to have assaulted her for $5 million. And then, of course, what happened with the Stormy Daniels situation, that's all gone in the past. But this will also go in the past at some point, even though it's a bigger matter.
Yeah, Thane Rosenbaum is still with us. Any comments, Thane?
I still can't get over the fact that you said you're not a lawyer.
Not yet.
Nina.
Not yet.
Yeah,
I keep going to class.
He has to pass the bar.
Nina,
I'm working
Nina.
toward that. I've only failed the bar 12 times. So
I can't believe you told the Newsmax audience. That's ridiculous. Everyone knows.
Oh, yeah, well, I play a TV anchor also. But
So
Thane, I think that this is something that has been brought up several times, and that is the timing of all this. Okay, number one, distracting people from what's going on with the Biden family, if you will. But also, we literally are in the presidential campaign now. From a number of candidates. It's not like this is a year ago. We are in a presidential campaign right now. From your experience, how much control will there be? How much respect given to the fact that this is someone that wants to be able to campaign?
Look, Bob, there's a shamelessness to this because I'm often wrong. I'm on your show a lot, and I have, I'm not always right. And I said, when Alvin Bragg went first in New York with the weakest of the cases, I said, this is really great for Donald Trump.
All right, Thane, I beg your pardon, Thane. I'm being asked to say goodbye to our folks, including those that are in Miami with us. Thank you.